Okay, so we're all now processing the recent news about the upcoming lounge access changes on the Capital One Venture X card. And one of the most asked questions I get is, Stan, when are you going to get the Capital One Venture X? Well, based on these new upcoming changes, the answer is probably never. Well, maybe for the welcome offer, but I probably wouldn't ever keep this card long-term in its new form. Surprisingly, or perhaps not surprisingly, I've been able to manage fine without this card, even as someone who goes to airport lounges on a fairly regular basis. So in this video, I'm going to explain how to navigate lounge access in a post-Venture X world, especially if you're someone who already uses this card and you're debating a keep or cancel decision. So to start, I want to briefly summarize these changes so that we're all on the same page. To be clear, if you're a solo traveler with a Venture X and you don't bring guests or have an authorized user for the purposes of lounge access, these changes don't really matter to you. In fact, you may even be happy about them because airport lounge overcrowding will probably improve after these changes go into effect, specifically in those Capital One lounges. But if you do travel with others and you depend on the Capital One Venture X for lounge access, well, enjoy it while it lasts. Starting on February 1st, 2026, there are two major changes to the Venture X's lounge access policy, one involving authorized users and one involving guests. For authorized users, Capital One Venture X cardholders will no longer receive complimentary lounge access and instead have the opportunity to buy this access for $125 per year per authorized user, up to 4 authorized users. Now, the authorized user cards themselves are still free, but now if you want lounge access, you have to pay to play, effectively giving the Capital One Venture X authorized user cards an annual fee if lounge access is important. And when it comes to guests, Capital One Venture X primary card holders and authorized users will no longer receive complimentary guests and instead have to pay per guest instead. The charges will be $45 per adult and $25 for guests 17 and under for access to Capital One lounges and Capital One landings. Now, if you spend $75,000 on the card in a calendar year, you'll be able to bring 2 guests into Capital One lounges and 1 guest to Capital One landings. And the price model will be different for Priority Pass lounges, where the personal version of the Capital One Venture X will charge $35 per guest. And even if you spend $75,000 on this card in a calendar year, you still will no longer be able to bring free guests into Priority Pass lounges. So some of you may be wondering why I didn't get this card, even though it's been a top credit card to get since it came out a few years ago. Well, to understand my thought process, let's establish the 2 main reasons why you'd want to get the Capital One Venture X card in the first place. The first reason is why we're all here, and that was for the lounge access that this card provided. And the second was that you could also earn 2x miles back in a flexible point currency, namely Capital One miles on the same card. So of course it'd be nice to have access to Capital One lounges, but I already have access to the Centurion Lounge network through my Amex Platinum card. Airports like Denver, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Las Vegas have both Centurion lounges and Capital One lounges, so having access to 2 lounges in the same airport really isn't necessary, at least that's how I thought about it. And when it comes to Priority Pass, I have so many cards to choose from, including the Amex Platinum card, Chase Ritz-Carlton card, Amex Bonvoy Brilliant card, the US Bank Altitude Reserve card, and the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite Credit card, which all have their own version of a Priority Pass membership. So from that standpoint, I really didn't have a real need to get the Capital One Venture X for lounge access specifically. And when it comes to the 2x miles back, yes, that's a nice perk, but I also have a lot of cards that are great catch-all cards to use instead. For point-earning cards, I have the Amex Blue Business Plus, which earns 2x membership rewards points back at up to $50,000 in spend per calendar year. And for cashback cards, I have the US Bank Altitude Reserve for 4.5% cashback equivalent on mobile wallet purchases, which might as well be a catch-all category anyways in this day and age, the US Bank Smartly card for 4% cashback, and the Unlimited Cash Rewards card for 2.625% cashback at the Platinum Honors tier with Bank of America. So again, in my setup, there's so much redundancy in the cards I already have with both lounge access and a catch-all category that adding a Capital One Venture X really wasn't worth the effort. And to top it all off, I also have 12 active personal credit cards, so it's pretty unlikely that Capital One would approve me for a Venture X card anyways. So even with these new changes in mind, another important question to ask is if lounge access is really even worth it anymore. I don't have to remind any of you of how full these lounges are, and this is probably one of the many reasons why Capital One decided to make these changes in the first place. From my view, lounge access is only worth it if you travel frequently enough to make good use out of your lounge membership. Now, the exact definition of frequently is going to depend from person to person, but I'd say that if you travel at least monthly, that would be a good metric to use to seriously consider a card with airport lounge access. I say this because at this point, there's at least a 30-minute to 1-hour wait time just to get into the airport lounge. And in those situations, it may just be better to save your time and spend as little time as possible in the airport itself. But if the Venture X is your only credit card with lounge access, there's a lot of other credit cards to choose from to replace it with. The only thing I'd say is that if you live next to an airport with a Capital One lounge and it's your main lounge, then well, you're kind of out of luck at that point, since only the Capital One Venture X cards would get you in, at least with that complimentary membership. And so let's get into some cards that you could consider as alternatives to the Venture X if lounge access, including Priority Pass lounge access, is important to you. So when it comes to luxury travel, there are two other luxury travel cards to consider, although these wouldn't be my first choices. Of course, we have the American Express Platinum card with its $695 annual fee, which offers lounge access through the Centurion Lounge network, which also includes Priority Pass. As of the recording of this video, only primary card holders and Platinum card authorized users receive complimentary lounge access to the Centurion lounges. Guests are charged a $50 fee, and children aged 2 through 17 are charged a $30 fee, unless the Platinum account has $75,000 or more in charges in a calendar year. In this case, up to 2 free guests per visit would be permitted. As for escape lounges and Priority Pass lounges, 2 free guests are allowed, but of course, actual guest access numbers are subject to the terms of the individual Priority Pass lounge that you're visiting. Now, the reason why I say that the Amex Platinum card wouldn't be a good Venture X replacement for lounge access is that each Platinum card authorized user comes with its own $195 annual fee. And this is more expensive than the $125 lounge add-on fee that the Venture X will have starting in February 1st, 2026. Of course, the Amex Platinum card does come with multiple statement credits to offset that annual fee, and potentially those authorized user fees too, but the true value of these credits will depend on your own individual situation. And so that's one option, but we should also cover the other well-known luxury travel credit card as well, and that would be the Chase Sapphire Reserve. As it stands now, the Sapphire Reserve has an annual fee of $550 and offers airport lounge access both with Chase Sapphire lounges and Priority Pass lounges. And to be even more specific, Sapphire lounges by the club are technically also Priority Pass lounges, but the Sapphire Reserve's Priority Pass allows access to these lounges too. Other cards that allow access to Sapphire lounges are the JP Morgan Reserve card and the Chase Ritz-Carlton card, which we'll talk about a little later in this video. Now, when it comes to the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, authorized users are $75 per year each, and each authorized user does come with its own Priority Pass membership. So compared to the new Venture X policy, this would be cheaper since adding the lounge benefit to a Venture X authorized user would be $125. And while the Sapphire Reserve offers the cheapest option of the 3 luxury travel credit cards for lounge access, again, this would not be my first choice. When comparing both the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Venture X for lounge access, the big difference here, other than cost, is access to the respective issuer's lounge program. The bonus with the Sapphire Reserve is that the authorized user fee with lounge access is $50 less on the CSR than on the Venture X. And you can also bring 2 free guests to Sapphire lounges and Priority Pass lounges too. And if you're just fed up with Capital One and want to just move on, another option to consider, which is not a card we talk about too much when discussing lounge access, is the American Express Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card. This card has a $650 annual fee, but comes with a $25 monthly dining credit and an anniversary $85K FNC, which helps to offset that annual fee. While the Priority Pass on this card does allow 2 free guests, the Priority Pass is only available for the primary cardholder and not to authorized users. So for this reason, the Bonvoy Brilliant would not be a great alternate card to replace the Venture X for Priority Pass lounge access, but the option is always there. Okay, so those are the cards that are not my favorite choices, but now let's get into the cards that I think are great replacements for the Capital One Venture X when it comes to lounge access. The first card is, of course, to no one's surprise, the Chase Ritz-Carlton card. This card has been closed to new applicants for quite some time now, but there's a pretty straightforward way to get this card through a product change of an existing Chase Marriott Bonvoy credit card. The Ritz-Carlton card has an annual fee of $450 and includes a $300 annual travel statement credit, as well as an $85 free night certificate that can offset this annual fee. And of course, the Chase Ritz-Carlton card comes with a complimentary Priority Pass membership that also allows access into Chase Sapphire lounges. Now, the 2 reasons why this card is a better choice for lounge access as compared to the Chase Sapphire Reserve is that, 1, the Ritz-Carlton card's Priority Pass allows unlimited free guests into Chase Sapphire lounges, and 2, the Ritz-Carlton Ritz-Carlton card offers free authorized users, which each have their own Priority Pass membership, also with unlimited free guests. So with this in mind, this is the best card to get for Priority Pass lounge access as it stands in June of 2025, provided that there are no further updates to the Ritz-Carlton card itself. I know the new lounge rules are an unfortunate update to the Venture X, but the silver lining is that this announcement was made with 8 months advance notice, meaning if you have the Venture X and use it for Priority Pass access, you have time to prepare. And conveniently, as of the recording of this video, there's an elevated offer for the Chase Marriott Bonvoy Boundless card. This offer is to earn 5 free night awards after spending $5,000 on eligible purchases within 3 months of account opening. Personally, I think this is a great offer and can be an incredible value as each of these free night awards are valued up to 50,000 points. I just make one small caveat to anyone that's considering this offer that it's probably better if you already have a redemption in mind before you apply for this card, because these free night awards expire after 1 year, and that does come quick. Now, the reason why this card and welcome offer is relevant is if you're looking for a replacement for your Venture X Priority Pass problems, now may be the right time to go for the Bonvoy Boundless. Out of the 3 Chase Marriott options, which are the Bold, the Boundless, and the Bountiful, the Bonvoy Boundless card is my personal favorite of the 3 to get before product changing that card into the Chase Ritz-Carlton card. As a reminder, you have to keep the card open for at least 12 months and have at least a $10,000 credit limit on the card before you can do the product change, but otherwise, it's a pretty simple process. One question I often get when discussing the product change to the Ritz-Carlton card is if it's worth it to receive the anniversary free night award on the Boundless card before you do that product change. And from my perspective, it depends. On one hand, that anniversary free night award is going to appear on the 13th month or 1 month after your first card member anniversary, so you don't have to necessarily wait that much longer. But if you want to get the Ritz-Carlton card as soon as possible, then I don't think you need to wait, especially if you've already received this 5 free night award offer, which gets you much more value than that $95 annual fee you paid for the first year. And once you get that Chase Ritz-Carlton card, setting up the Priority Pass is simple. All you have to do is call customer service and request your complimentary Priority Pass membership, as well as if you want any additional authorized users so you can request those Priority Pass memberships too. And remember, because this is a Chase card, Sapphire Lounge access is included, and since it's a Ritz-Carlton card, you have unlimited free guests too, which makes this Priority Pass one of the best ones to get in this current environment. Okay, so the Chase Ritz-Carlton card is one of my favorite options to replace the Capital Venture X, especially when it comes to lounge access. But one other card that's another serious contender is the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite Credit Card. Now, this card is not talked about as much as it should be, but that's generally because at first glance, it doesn't look like that great of a card. For a $550 annual fee, you earn 2x points back on travel and dining and 1.5x points back on all other purchases. But as we all know, these multipliers can be as high as 3.5x points back for travel and dining and 2.625x points back on all other purchases at the Platinum Honors level with the Bank of America Preferred Rewards program. There are a few statement credits that can offset this annual fee, like a $300 Alien Incidental credit, a $150 lifestyle credit, and a $120 TSA PreCheck and Global Entry credit, so that's nice. And I also want to mention the 1.25 cent per point airline redemption bonus if you redeem your points for airfare to the Bank of America travel portal to give those points a little more juice. But when it comes to the Priority Pass membership, this is where I think this card becomes absolutely incredible, especially when compared to other alternatives. The Premium Rewards Elite card comes with a complimentary Priority Pass membership for not only the primary card holder, but also for 3 additional individuals of your choosing. The kicker here is that you don't even have to add authorized users to get these other Priority Passes. This card literally lets you just have 4 individual Priority Pass memberships per card member account. And if that wasn't enough, this is one of the only credit cards out there that still offers access to Priority Pass restaurants, which makes this a really unique offering. I'll admit, $550 is a steep cost of admission, but if you're serious about your Priority Pass membership as a current Venture X user and you want restaurant access too, because that was removed a little while ago as well, this is certainly another viable option. Now, as for guest access, Bank of America doesn't reveal any specific number, and I'm not really sure about this myself either, but I've also seen data points of those who've been able to get 2 free guests in with this Priority Pass, so that's good to know. Now, if we compare the Chase Ritz-Carlton card and the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite Credit Card from a lounge access perspective, the main difference here is going to be what you prefer. If you think you'd be more likely to frequent Sapphire lounges, the Ritz-Carlton card would be the better choice. And if you think you'd be more likely to frequent Party Pass restaurants, then the Premium Rewards Elite credit card would be the better choice. Of course, for both cards, there are other considerations like annual fees, statement credits, and number of guests for the Party Pass, but the overall value of these will depend on your own individual situation. Personally, out of these two cards, I picked the Chase Ritz-Carlton card because I'm much more likely to travel to an airport with a Chase Sapphire Lounge than a Party Pass restaurant, but as always, your mileage may vary. So with the upcoming Venture X changes in mind, is this card even worth it anymore? From my perspective, unless you frequent a Capital One lounge specifically, the answer is no. There are so many other options that you can use as a catch-all credit card, as well as cards that offer Party Pass access, that there's no need to stick with the Venture X if you don't want to. I sincerely hope that this is the only nerf that Capital One has in store for us on the Venture X, but as we're probably entering into a credit card recession, we'll just have to see what happens next. And to see how I'm preparing for a credit card recession, check out this video next.